Brendan, what kind of shape is your squad in after the international break? It's always a bit of a vagary for managers to see what kind of nick the players are and how are they?
Yeah, no, they've all come back fine and healthy, so no injuries, which is always good. So all back in together now, and looking forward to our game tomorrow.
Obviously, Leigh Griffiths withdrew from the Scotland squad, saying he wanted to work on his fitness.
Yeah.
What has he done in that time, and where is he at in terms of his conditioning and his preparation for moving forward?
Well, I think in terms of Leigh, I think it was, for me, it was the right decision he made. Purely on the basis that if you want to be involved at top level sport, and you want to play internationally, and you want to play for a top club, unless you're physically fit, you've no business being on the pitch to play. So that's very important. You know, you're going to play for your country, or you play for a top club like Celtic. You have to be physically right when you go onto the field. Otherwise, otherwise, as I said, you're not doing yourself justice, and obviously your teammates and your support. You know, our supporters, live their life for this club. The very least they expect for when players come onto the field is that you're fit. So I think Leigh was brave enough to at least think that he wasn't at the right level where he could help his country, and obviously very importantly help Celtic. Now he's come away. Unfortunately, he's been ill, not well. So we'll have to see if he's going to be available or not for tomorrow. But I think the message that he was saying was that he wants to ensure, like we've always said here to all our players, is that you have to be physically right in order to, one, play how we want to play, but of course to do yourself justice as well on the field.
Can we take from that then that there previously been discussions with him regarding fitness and conditioning? It's something that as a club you've kind of spoken about before?
No, it's something that I've always said since the first day I walked in. You get paid a lot of money here. Sometimes you'll play, sometimes you won't. But the very least that's it's required now as a professional player at the very highest level is that you're physically right. And like I say, you've no business being on a football pitch if you're not physically fit. The members of our public that come and watch, travel, thousands of miles, come to our games, invest their money and their lives into football. That's what they expect. So in fairness to him, he recognises that, and it's something that he'll hopefully be able to make himself that bit fitter because of how we play and the intensity of which we play. Unless we have that, especially in that key area of the field, then as I said, it has a knock-on effect to the rest of the team. So in fairness to him, he recognises that, and he'll be working very hard to try and get to the required level.
From your conversations with him, do you expect him to make himself available for the next games coming up for Scotland in a month's time? Is that something you've spoken about?
Yeah, I don't think. Listen, Scotland is between himself and Alex and the staff, but there's no doubt that he, if he's in a really good condition, then he's making himself available. I don't think him not going with Scotland was a case of he doesn't want to play for Scotland again. He's a very passionate young man, Leigh, who wants to play for Celtic and he wants to play for Scotland, and I think we would all agree that when he's at that level, then he's a very valuable player for both.
Has his fitness issues been down to injuries this season?
I think sometimes it's been unfortunate for him where he has been injured, but I think there's probably been other things around that, Ronnie, where he maybe just hasn't quite been at the level, but that's not something that's a public discussion. That's something for him, but behind the scenes here to work with. And like I say, he's a good guy who understands where he needs to be at now in terms of the right physical level to play at such a prestigious club, and obviously then hopefully to then go on and represent his country.
Have you noticed that in the past few weeks, and have you spoke to him about that?
No, it's something that's ongoing. It's something that it's a requirement. You need to have it. It's not something that we have a top level sports science team here that regulate and measure all the players in terms of their fitness. We train to a big intensity every day, so it's all regulated and monitored in terms of where they're at. And like we've seen with a number of players here, how their fitness levels have increased and developed over the period of time. Then obviously we hope that we can help everyone with that. But that's something you have to want to do yourself as well.
On the other hand, has Kieran been playing simply too much this season, on the past couple of seasons?
No, I just think you just need to keep an eye on the game time that he's played. I think we had an agreement before he went away with Scotland that he would play in the first game and wouldn't play in the second game. So again, another young guy is very passionate to play for his country. Like you see, he plays out of position to play for his country. But like I say, it was one that was already organised before he'd went.
On that note, there's a national debate on where Kieran should play, could play. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, his best position is a left back. Scotland are very blessed to have two top quality young fullbacks. But I will leave that for Alex and his staff to decide how to fit them in. But yeah, he's a top quality young player who's only going to get better and better.
Would you be happy enough with him playing either right back or centre back for Scotland? Would he be happy enough? Have you spoken to him about it?
It's not my conversation.
It's one of the biggest balances for you, especially at this time of the season when you've got all the European games, is managing how your players' workload and when they, especially if they have to go away with the national team as well.
Yeah, it's no different to all the seasons I've been here. You're always in a process of measuring the fitness of the players, making as many of them as available as you can. Of course, throughout the season, we're playing so many games, you're going to pick up injuries and knocks. And why it's important to have a really good squad of players. But yeah, that's a part of it. You think the likes of the guys that have been travelling away, long journeys over the course of the international break, you got to monitor, see how they come back, depending on where they've been and where they've travelled from. So it's a constant assessment of the players and where they're at physically. Because of what we ask them to do on the field, it's we like to play with a real intensity in our game. But in fairness to the players here, they're absolutely been brilliant. Our methods over the last couple of years, we've tried to help them improve and develop. And like I say, the club have invested in a really top quality team behind the coaching staff that allows them to be as best prepared as possibly can be.
You've got a fairly intense week coming up with Hibs and then Leipzig.
No, we've got a really great, exciting month now before the next international break. So starting, like you say, with the game against Hibs tomorrow, which should be a fantastic game.
What are you expecting from them? They're doing great guns in the league at the moment.
Yeah, and I've been very impressed with Hibs and they're an offensive team, so I think it should be a very, very good football game tomorrow. When I see them play, they never come to sit in and defend deep, and then they're aggressive in their game. They want to go and score goals. I think they're the highest goal scorers in the league. So it should make for a fantastic game.
You're looking to pick up where you left off before the break as well? Yeah,
it was much more like us, I think. I felt for the last few weeks that we've been starting to get to that level. I think that the cup game against St Johnstone, we created as many chances, maybe weren't as clinical. But on our last game, I was much happier with firstly our intent in our pressing. The basics of our game was very good. We closed the pitch, we denied space. I always think the game is really a function of space and distance. And when we hadn't got the ball, we were very tight and compact, and when we had it, we could open up the pitch and create opportunities. So we did that really well, and we know we have quality, and the players produced a brilliant performance. And in fairness to Tommy, his team in particular at home have been very, very difficult to to play against. You know, I think it's about a number of months since he lost a game at home. So we had to play at a really high level, and thankfully we did that.
What do you make of the rebuilding job sort of that Neil Lennon's had to do over the summer with Hibs? Obviously they lost a couple of key players, but they're still performing well. What have you made of the job he's done?
Yeah, no, I think that Neil and his staff have replaced the players very well. So obviously they lost important players, in particular in the middle of the field, and we're able to replace them with very good players. You know, the young boy Malin is a highly gifted player technically. You know, he's got fantastic range of pass, can take the ball, and he makes forward passes. Young Heinemann, we've seen up here before with Rangers. He's a talented player. So technically they're a very gifted team, and like I say, they've got players up front that can score goals. So now I've been very impressed by them, and like I say, they're a very good side.
Did the break come at a bad time for you after struggling for a bit and then putting in such a good performance just before, and then obviously now having had that couple of weeks off, did it come at a bad time, or is it just a case of trying to pick up?
It's just what it is, really. I think it's also worth stressing, it's all a process. I think obviously, of course, if you lose a game at Celtic or you draw a game, it's a disaster, but from a coaching perspective and a management perspective, it's all a process. You know, you make mistakes in games, you go away, you find the solutions, and then you look to improve. One thing I've never ever been with these players is frustrated, because they've given me everything since I've been here. You just got to measure over the course of a season, and we're all judged at the end of it. Some periods you'll be very, very good. Some periods you'll take a dip, but by the end of it all, you know, you want to succeed, and that's something that our aims are very clear on, and our focus is very clear on. So yeah, I just felt that our performance level has been improving, and we've seen that in the last game, and of course we want to continue with that. Over the course of the coming months, we won't always score 6 goals in games, but I think our creativity is returning, which is important.
Brendan, is Scott Brown, is he ready to return tomorrow against Hibs after missing the last
Yeah,
game?
he's been back training this week, so he'll be available. Yeah.
On Scott, there was reports in the paper this morning that this club in Australia, Western Melbourne, I think, are looking to perhaps make a move for him at some point when they get A-League admission. I take, as far as you're concerned, that's just speculation. There's nothing.
Absolutely, it's all speculation and gossip. So yeah, nothing really to say on it.
Is there any update on Scott's contract or anything?
No, I think that he's had initial discussions with the club. I know he's very happy, he's very content. I think it's been Scott's sort of process over these last couple of years. You know, he's in great form, been brilliant, you know, and his play and his leadership in these last 2 seasons. So yeah, it's very relaxed. He's got a good relationship with the club, been here a long time, and he knows the importance that he has here at Celtic.
He was talking during the week about moving into coaching here. How do you think he would be as a coach here?
Yeah, there's no doubt he has leadership qualities, and then it'll just depend how he wants to see that and move that forward, whether it's coaching and then managing or doing both. What I know is that he'd be a brilliant member of staff when he does decide to leave, to be here at Celtic, because he's ingrained in the club. He knows what it means. You know, he's been an historical captain here in his career, and I think when that time comes, I think he can be a great success. You know, again, coaching and managing doesn't just happen. You got to put the hours in, you got to put the work in, and if you base how he lives his life as a footballer, then of course he can be a fantastic coach and manager later, because that's all he's ever done in his football life. He's very devoted, he's very passionate, and I'm sure he'll be a great success at that as well.
Are you back as well?
No, he'll next week he'll be back training. Yeah.
There was a suggestion in Israel, Brendan, that Neil Beaton had an operation recently. Is that the case? Neil?
He did do, yeah. Just a clean up operation. So he's out on the field running now, which is good. But there's no exact time when he'll be back. Okay, super. Thank you.
Just do some
Yes, yeah, yeah, no.
We're going to do weekends tomorrow.
I need to sort it. You know,